Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I am truly grateful to have the opportunity to speak to House Bill 3376 on the floor today. This bill, like many other good bills, started with the story of a person facing a challenge. That person has been introduced earlier today by the representative from Tigard, and his name is Ben Price, a man I now count as a friend, and is a Class B felon. Over 2 decades ago, he made a series of bad decisions, was convicted of a drug-related offense, and served time for his crime. Following his release, Ben has proven to be a success story for the criminal justice system, not only maintaining a spotless record, but counseling others who are facing the tough choices that led him down the wrong path as a younger man. He's now a family man with a wife and children to whom he is fiercely dedicated. He's an active community member, participating in church, Rotary Club. While he is far removed from the mistakes he made in the past, the stigma and label of being a felon persist, preventing him from serving the community in the way that he wants to. Colleagues, this bill is a very narrowly crafted revision to the expungement statutes, and it will allow people like Ben to move on with their lives. The bill prescribes that after 20 years, colleagues, of good behavior, nonviolent offenders convicted of certain Class B felonies are eligible to have their records expunged. It includes protections from repeat and violent offenders. The bill has been vetted and approved by members of the law enforcement community, including the good representative from Albany and the good representative from Beaverton-Alloa and the Oregon District Attorneys Association. Colleagues, I'm asking you to recognize the reality that people make serious mistakes and adjust their course to find purpose later in life and to have earned a second chance. These citizens, in their efforts to contribute from their hearts, volunteer and work in our communities. I ask that you support House Bill 3376 and allow them to become, once again, full members of our society.
Further discussion, Representative Doherty.
Mr. Speaker, to the bill.
To the bill.
I encourage everyone in this House to vote yes on Representative Harker's bill. Any of us that have worked with students and with children and with kids know that there are a lot of kids that make mistakes. And there are probably people sitting in this room that if they would have been caught, they might have been in the same situation that Mr. Price was. A lot of us have made mistakes as youngsters, and a lot of the kids that I taught at Milwaukee High School fit into this category. But you see them 20 years later, you see them 15 years later, and they're absolutely exemplary citizens. They have gone through and helped community members, they've helped kids that are facing the same sort of situations, and somebody that does something when they're young, 20 years later shouldn't still be penalized for them. And I think a lot of you know with Class B felonies, there are lots of things that they can't do. A lot of these youngsters can't rent apartments, for example, even if they've gone 6, 7, 8, 10 years without any problems. It's something that follows them the rest of their life. And when you're 19 years old or 18 years old or even 20 years old, you don't realize what those ramifications are. Everybody deserves a second chance. And this bill gives people that opportunity. So I strongly encourage you to vote aye on House Bill 3376. Thank you.
Further discussion? Seeing none, Representative Harker, do you wish to close? He does.
Briefly, Mr. Speaker, thank you. Colleagues, I can't hear or tell this story without thinking back to a Merle Haggard song. We don't quote Merle on the floor very often, but I'm going to today. It's a song called Branded Man. I left the guitar upstairs and I'm not going to sing, but I am going to recite the lyrics, which ring true for me in this situation. They go, I'd like to hold my head up high and be proud of who I am, but they won't let my secret go untold. I paid the debt I owed them, and they're still not satisfied. Now I'm the branded man out in the cold. Colleagues, Ben has been the branded man out in the cold, and he most certainly is not alone. I ask you to help me rectify this situation now, and I strongly encourage you to vote aye on this bill.